Hello and welcome back to Sprite Guard Plays HyperRogue. We are exploring the Caribbean, trying to get the Orb of Time, but before that Xeno pointed out to me that we did not actually look at what the fox says in its description, so let's do that. Right-click it. What is freedom for you? A situation when you can walk wherever you want? Or a situation when you do not have to work, since you have as much tasty food as you want? Well, this creature has chosen the second option. It won't be happy if you destroy its prison. That's really interesting. That is really interesting. I like that a lot. It kind of a little bit reminds me, because I was thinking that, I was playing Road Not Taken so much, and I kind of really liked the involvement of foxes in that. I really like foxes, okay? That's just how it is. And I was, kind of thinking about how, I don't know, somehow I noticed that parallel, and it was, like, meaningful to me in some way. But that description kind of increases that relevance, because, one of the things I really liked about Road Not Taken was how it kind of questions the whole idea of a good life. And so, it was really kind of just this nice little parallel that I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it was something cool that I just one of those little associations that I make a lot of them. I never know whether those associations are real or not, but they are real in the sense that I do make them, I do see them. But let's see, I actually want to check what direction we're going, because it's never obvious. It looks like over toward this way, and we don't actually need to go that deep. We are probably plenty deep enough. 31. And so now I'm going to kind of try and start just looking for treasure. And of course, the more kills we get, the more likely treasures are to spawn. Looks like we have a few of them spawning kind of inside of clearings, which is more difficult to get to. There's one that we can reach. Now we do need to be a little bit careful. This is a land where I have died many times, mostly due to neglecting combat. Let's see, so it's that way. And then from here it is that way. And it looks like we have this narrow little passage leading down there. Let's see. Let's deal with this pirate first, and then the birds. There we go, and then we want to deal with the birds on this side as well. Make sure that they get to us one at a time. And there's a couple more treasures for us. Looks like they are starting to get pretty common at this point. And of course, the more creatures we kill, the more common they will be. But I think that this is one of those lands where the depth you are at actually matters for treasure spawns. I don't think it makes treasures more common. Let's see, we're going kind of along this way. Back over this way. So it looks like we actually want to cross this gap, which we are not able to do. And so we're going to have to start working our way in another direction. Unfortunately, there's only one path inward. But there are many, many paths outward. And so I'm going to kind of try and circle around those two compasses. See what we can find. And we are 35 deep, so it should be, there should be a lot of area that we can search through and find what we need. But we do have to be observant, we have to be careful. And yes, a little bit lucky. And since we came through that, that narrow little passage, basically everything here should be unexplored. I'm not seeing a ton of stuff. And we're starting to get a little bit outside of where we want to be. $23. And I'm starting to kind of lose track of what we've explored, what we have not explored. Let's see, it looks like this is out. Yeah, we're actually pretty far out at this point. There's still treasures spawning, so it's not completely hopeless yet. But none of the treasures are spawning where I can get to them, except those two. So let's go and get them. And then we may need to find a different island since we're no longer able to move inward on this one. Let's see. Yes, those guys will reach us in the right order. And we're only at 10, so... and there's our 10th treasure, so... I wonder if it's like a really strict depth thing. I doubt it, because, once you're inside of shore, there's going to be none, as far as I know. So we have the Orb of Time spawning. We have very little else spawning. And so I don't know that it's worth grabbing yet. Though we have a couple of them. They seem to be pretty common here. Let's see. So it doesn't say what the spawn rate is here, I don't think. I think maybe in the overview it does. We're in the Caribbean, Orb of Time. No, it doesn't. Okay. Oh well. It's 100% of whatever its spawn rate is, I believe. I think it's 100% in the native lands and 70% in the hub lands. So we're going to try and find... This is a little dicey. Don't want to get pinched, but it looks like we won't. So there's an Orb of Flash for us. So we can now preserve this, but of course, how long we can preserve it is kind of uncertain. But this is really valuable. So we have a lot of turns to try and get this into the center, but we don't have any compasses to use. And it looks like that is going to make it very, very difficult to keep our Orb of Flash. So now we have a compass. And we have an Orb of Teleport. I don't like to use the Orb of Teleport in this land. So we can look for another Orb of Flash. Lead this guy in a little bit deeper. But, whether or not we'll find that before our Orb of Time runs out, well, we can even refresh that, so there we go. And of course, no matter how far around we go, What's deeper from us is not going to change very much. So we can hunt around. Looks like Orb of Flash not really spawning the way we want it to. But we have so many time charges here that we can really take our time. Pun retroactively intended. I was not thinking of that as a pun. It's not really a pun, but it's close enough for me. So let's see, this is actually something that we can... Yes, we can blast in there, and that will actually give us a little bit more access to treasures. We still have a huge amount of time charge left. And so I'm inclined to keep playing with it. And we just keep getting more. And I believe clockwise is the direction we've been going. I don't know if there's a cap on power, but looks like we have not hit it yet. Orb of Teleport, don't want that. 454. But this is kind of a fun little diversion, and I think Orb of Flash is a good thing to have here. And next time it shows up, we should actually check what the spawn rate is, because it's one of the more common orbs. And so... now, the places where it can spawn, there's very few tiles that it can spawn on. And so that's why we're having so much difficulty finding it. Okay, there we go. That's the way to do it. Was a little bit uncertain about those tactics. That's teleport. That's another teleport. I am colorblind, so I have to look at the shape of the edge of the treasure in order to know what it does. Because the Orb of Teleport does look almost white to me. I can kind of see the difference when I look closely, but there we go. So we have 600 turns to put this to use. We're going to have to be a little bit tactically clever. And these parrots are going to make it a little bit hard. Let's see, so we can't actually get into where this will be most useful, unfortunately, but we can do some good stuff with it right there. That'll open up some stuff. And that's got us up to 12, which is not much. We want to be a little bit careful about, managing both pirates and parrots. Okay, so now the center is actually not really within reach, unfortunately. So we're going to have to go to another island, or just carry on and say, you know what, we have so many charges of time, and we are going to find them in the crossroads, just not at the spawn rate that I would like to. So we are going to search for a coastal land. And we don't really care. Well, we care a little bit which one, because we don't want to go into a land that's going to get us killed. And it looks like already we're, it takes so long to traverse that already we're running very low on time, so that, that's not going to work out as well as I had hoped. Maybe if we had built up a truly enormous number of charges. Let's see, we should be able to get through the warped coast. We might as well at least pick up some treasures while we're here. Though, I don't remember what the orb for this land is. And it looks like it doesn't say, but I think in the overview it should tell us what land we're in with a little star, which I don't see. Because there's a second page. No? No, I'm scrolling right through it, so I'm just being unobservant. Warped Coast, there we go. Coral Orb of the Warp. That's right, that's the one that makes the whole world warped, which is pretty cool. Now, the Rattling Tactics are a little bit difficult, and it looks like there's a lot of them after us. So let's see, we can hit that, and then you, and then we need another tree to get you, and you, and you, and then we need another tree. There we go. So we are looking for a land border, and we need to hit that to get you. And there's a land border, and it is a prairie. Which, I don't know if the prairie is all that helpful to us. Let's see, it looks like we have pretty bad synchronization overall. And so I'm going to escape into this desert. And there's our crossroads right there. So now we're looking for Orbs of Time. We are looking for, let's see, the Emerald Mine requires the Dry Forest, and at this point we're looking for an Orb of Safety, because we've been going for quite a while, and we want to kind of put things on hold now. Orb of Nature, always really fun to play with, and there's our Orb of Safety, so we will have it. And we have a little bit of time charge left to help us preserve that. And so we get to play around now, see what we can do. So, until next time, thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.